Here. And we've been around for more than 20 years, and so it's pretty good for a print journal. And so we're excited about that. We're excited to have the folks here reading, to be in the book. One of the things I feel like I say, and I'm always astounded by, is that whenever we put together a collection, it feels like this kind of organically takes on a theme. And I'm not going to talk too much politics. I think folks like to have this as a reprieve from the Facebook feed and everything that's kind of going on. But I was looking back and seeing what I wrote in the editor's note and talking about how the theme of this issue seemed to come out as grief, and it seemed to kind of take on a new meaning after the events, after the results of the election. And so I've noticed that there's like a lot of stuff on Facebook talking about the power of poetry. And poetry is kind of trending right now because people are going to it as a place of solace, reprieve, healing, and so on. And so I included in the editor's note this quote from Kevin Young. His book it's called The Art of Losing, which is his collection or anthology of poems of grief and healing. And he says in there, "I think that's a real part of grief that we sometimes aren't able to talk about. And I think that poetry talks about perhaps better than anything else. It's able to capture a moment, a feeling, perhaps a fleeting feeling, and even make, as the poem does, music out of it. And I think that's why people in times of grief or healing or loss tend to turn to poetry, because of this idea of how it's able to transform that negative experience into something that's beautiful. And to capture that trauma, that incidents, and like he says, make something that sings, right? And so without further ado, I want to introduce the poets. We're going to have Dan come up here first, and Dan is a recent graduate of the MFA at Texas State. I got to brag about his poem a little bit, Dear Sympathy 6, in the editor's note, because I feel like it sets the tone for the kind of the thread of grief that's woven throughout the journal. But Dan is, like I said, a recent graduate of the MFA program over at Texas State. He grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, and has lived in Florida and Malawi. Currently resides in Texas, where he recently earned his MFA at Texas State. And no matter where he is, though, he finds a way to get lost in the woods. And his work has appeared in About Place Journal and East Coast Literary Review. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring Dan up to share some of the poems.